And you don't understand the mystery of light. I told us by definition yesterday that light is electromagnetic radiation to which the organs of sight responds to. So in the minute you become light, people begin to respond to you. I am cannot be in a place and people don't gather around I am. That's why they came for him and to him from everywhere. And I'm speaking to you now. Once grace hits you and you become light, people will identify with you. People will locate you. People will find you out in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Can I talk to somebody here? In the day when he made the light in two dimensions. The Bible says in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth. The earth was without form and void. Darkness was upon the face of the deep. And what the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, let there be light. And there was light. That was the spoken light, not created light. There's a difference between the spoken light and the created light. The spoken light is the word of God. And he said, let there be light. And I was confused because if God is the immortality that dwelleth in light that no man approacheth unto, how could there be darkness where he was? Then I understood the meaning of scriptures and language use. He said, let there be. He did not say, let here be. Because there's a difference between here and there. God dwells in here, heaven of heavens. But there on earth, there was darkness. And God said, I don't need to live where I am here to go to there. My spoken word will go from here to there and cause light to disperse darkness in that place. So God spoke the word, and the word left here and went there, and light became powerful in that place. And that spoken word is the Lord Jesus Christ. Am I talking here? And that is the man who became the I am upon the face of the earth. Seen of angels, understood by men. Now please, in the next few verses, the Bible says, and God now said, let us make light. Let us make light. And he made the lights, two great lights. The greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night. Can I talk to somebody here? And he put them where? In the firmament of the heavens. Am I talking? That they might shine. And the greater light shines in the day, the lesser light shines. Please follow closely. The first thing you know about light is rulership. He made them to rule. You cannot be light and not be a ruler. So when God makes you I am, and you have become I am light, you enter into the place of rulership. In that community you will rule. In that office you will rule. In that clan you will rule. Anywhere you enter you begin to take charge, because light is a ruler over darkness. So it's an error for you to stand in a place and then forces of darkness are showing power and you are quiet. You know, I love His Grace, the bishop. Anywhere he goes to, any community, whether from the Muslim side or the native doctor side or the evil people side, wherever he stands, he takes what? Control. And powers that have held people down are dislodged because a greater power has shown up. Am I talking here? Now, it's an error for you to enter a place and you bow down your head and forces of wickedness are in charge. Someone say, God forbid. When Moses entered into Egypt, there were powers in Egypt. Egypt was the then civilization of the world, and it had all magicians and sorcerers and all kinds of wicked people. But when the power of I am showed up in the personality of Moses, please take note, the first thing the Lord did was to dislodge all their powers. And he says, Moses, throw your rod on the ground. He threw it on the ground and it became a serpent. Pharaoh laughed. I said, small trick, small trick, small trick. How I thought you were about to do something good that will even amaze me. Is it the small one you did? Magicians, sorcerers, show up. And all of them showed up. And they threw their own rods on the ground. All their rods became what? Serpents. And the Lord said, I put you where I want you to be. Moses' rod that turned into a serpent began to swallow all their serpents, swallowed up all their serpents. And when he swallowed the last serpent, the Lord said to Moses, take it by the tail. He took it by the tail and became a rod in his hands. It therefore means there was no longer a rod in any other Egyptian magician's hands. All the rods were inside one rod. For all the serpents were inside one serpent. That's why all power entered his hands and Egypt submitted. And that's why Jesus said, all power in heaven and on earth has been given unto me. Am I talking to somebody here? And he turned to you and said, behold, I give unto you power. So it therefore means right now I am in charge of every power. All power is in my hands. I can enter any community and subdue the community because I am is with me. Am I talking to somebody here? Now please take note. So when you are light, you are ruler. The Bible says, and even Daniel entered into Babylonian captivity and entered into Babylon and subdued all the magicians and the sorcerers. And he became what you call the chief, the Oga of all magicians and sorcerers. Which means what they could not see, he saw. What they could not explain, he explained. Why? I am was in him. I came to say to you here, it's an error for a witch to manifest where you are. Prof, come, sir. That story you told me of a man who said he was going to take you to court and take the church to court because you told prophetically in church and picked a girl and said your father is sleeping with you and causing destruction upon your life. What happened to the man? Don't just tell us the story.
Yeah, I went to a place to preach in Nigeria, and I called a lady and I said, your father is sleeping with you, and your father is an occultic man. And I prayed for the lady, and the lady admitted and said it's true and confessed. So after the program, I went back to Lagos, and the pastor of the church said that the father wrote a letter through the lawyer to the church that they want to sue me and the pastor. That why should I say that I must come back and reverse that word. And I called the pastor. I said, get me another 3 days program. I want to kill that man. That's what I said to the pastor. And the pastor said, you want to cause more trouble for me in my church. Why will you say, you said another 3 days program, you want to kill the man? I said, I'm telling you, I want to kill the man. So after 6 months, he planned another program, and I called the girl back. I said this and your father did this. If I be a man of God, 72 hours from now, your father will die. Between 24 hours, a trailer crushed the head of the man.
Was he occultic or he was not occultic?
He was occultic. He was an occultic man. Demonic man.
Between that occultic man and the power of the I am that was in you, who is stronger?
I am.
Walk over to 3 persons and says, I am is in me. 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 I am strong. I am strong. I am a ruler. I am in charge. Not circumstances and situations. Shout, yeah, yeah. Daniel entered and subdued Babylon. Now you don't understand subjection. Daniel walked over to the king and said to him, behave well. If not, Jehovah will drive you out of this palace into the forest, and you shall become like an animal. For how many years? 7 good years. How dare a mortal speak to a king after that manner? It's because the Lord had made him stronger and bigger than the king. And the Bible says the watchers released the word and drove the man according to the word of the servant of God that was ruler in the midst of men. No, you don't understand. Before Moses entered into Egypt, the Lord said to Moses, Moses, I have made you a God unto Pharaoh. Which means I have made you to be sovereign over sovereignty. Pharaoh was a sovereign one on earth, human sovereignty over the nation of Egypt. He said, but I made you a God, a spiritual sovereignty over a human sovereignty. Go and subdue that nation. And many of you will leave this meeting and go and subdue places that have never been subdued before. Shout, I am is in me. I am the light of the world.